Free-flowing, locally produced and editorially independent news and information can transform lives and enrich communities. This is at the core of Internews programs.
I'm Pamela.
I'm Ebong.
And I'm Kate.
And today we're dishing with you from East Urban Bistro, located at 806 15th Street, right in the Sofitel Hotel.
And today I want to introduce our special guest today, who is Councilmember David Catania.
Good to be here.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This is a really exciting format, and I'm really pleased to be a part of it.
Good. Thank you. We're really happy to have you here. But the first
You're
question.
our first political guest.
Yes,
right?
yes.
But that sets a really bad
so
precedent,
we
doesn't
thank
it?
you very much.
So you're
for
setting the tone.
Only one way to go from
We're
here.
lucky,
That's
you're
up.
lucky. Yeah.
Hey, you're setting the tone, basically.
Great.
So my first question to you is, it's rather elementary, but why'd you decide to run for office?
Well, you know, it's an interesting journey that I've had. In 1997, I was elected, or 1996, I was elected to be an advisory neighborhood commissioner in the district. And at the time, you know, it's like our little county governments. We decide ABC issues and very, very neighborhood-oriented issues. And I was practicing law at a large firm here in the district, Aiken Gump, Strauss Hauenfeld. It's a big firm. And I was practicing energy lawyer. And I could bore my friends immediately at a cocktail party by explaining to them what I did. It was the interstate regulation of natural gas, and they would just doze right off. But in all seriousness, you know, I had a political background, a political family, grew up in Republican politics in my home state of Missouri. Okay. And as a resident of the city in 1996, I decided to run for ANC, and then an opportunity came open in the council, and then I was a Republican. People said, well, don't bother running, you'll never win. Yeah. A Republican has never beaten a Democrat in a race in the district. You know, if you want to waste your time, go right ahead. But I felt so strongly that the city needed new leadership, that we needed new direction. I was, frankly, as a citizen, tired of one generation of leadership after another in the district being more interested in being somebody than having something to say and wanting to deliver. Mm-hmm. And I thought, you know, I had something to say and wanted to make a contribution. So I ran hard, and I won, and then I won again, and I was elected again, and then again. And so I'm in my 4th term. It's the greatest job in the world.
And you're not bored yet?
No, I'm not bored.
Well,
I'm not bored.
It's a state, but it's also a local government. So you really are a local celebrity.
Well, you know,
do you feel like you get treated that way?
We're a state, and we're a county, and we're a city. We're all 3 in 1. But I have yet to get bored. I mean, every day, honest to God, you know, I look forward to coming to work when my eyes open in the morning. You know, the thoughts that run in your head before your feet hit the ground about what are you going to do today. And to be a public servant, in all seriousness, is about service. You know, if you buy into the celebrity, you're missing the point. The point is you get to get up every day and serve, you know, a city that you love. And I'm particularly proud of the progress that we've made in the last couple of years. As you know, I chair the Committee on Health and have chaired the committee since 2005. And in the last 4 years, you know, have taken great pride in the fact that we have cut the number of uninsured residents in this city in half.
Oh, wow.
From 13.5% of our population to 7%. We lead the nation. We have the fewest uninsured children in the nation. And it's not just about expanding access. It's about quality and safety. And it's about, you know, how can we deliver for our citizens in a way for a generation that we haven't? How can we turn these really awful health outcomes around? And so, you know, one day after another, it presents great opportunities to do it. It's just fantastic.
But this is also not just a city that you're serving the nation's capital, which should be what many cities across the country look to as a leader.
That's right.
In many different aspects. So do you feel even more pressure?
You know, the pressure I feel because I've imposed it on myself, and because I get to work with extraordinary people that serve as my committee staff. Every one of them could go off into the private sector and double their income. And they choose to serve in these roles. And it's important, right? I mean, often it's the member, the elected official that gets the credit, but it's never the elected official that does it in a vacuum. It's always an ensemble right? Just as you all are here today. It's a group of people that make something work. And whether it's, our expanding access, whether it's, 2 years ago, for the first time in the city's history, we provided an adult dental benefit, for instance, to Medicaid patients.
Oh, wow.
60,000 people for the first time in their lives had a chance to have routine dental services. And that may seem really goofy, right? But for those of us who were lucky growing up and who never questioned why every 6 months we went to a dentist, to see people who at 18 were relieved unwillingly of any access. Like the city would, stupidly, we would pay for an emergency extraction at an emergency room for this population, but we wouldn't give them the dignity of routine maintenance of their teeth. And when you lose your teeth, again, this is silly, but you also lose your dignity and your ability to maintain a livelihood.
You take for granted.
Right. Yeah. At a great meeting, a great hearing in our budget cycle this year, and this is kind of rambling, but I have moments where I'm prouder than others of service, right? And when I had, an older woman come and testify with her new teeth, and she mentioned how that meant she could manage her chronic disease, which was diabetes, and the dignity that it gave her life, I thought, this is exactly why I wanted to serve. Because, my neighbors, some of whom I know and some of whom I don't, but I do know that there are 30,000 residents who've taken advantage of these services, who are living their lives and contributing and taking care of themselves and their families. And it's just one of many issues. Children's health I care very much about, very passionate about what we've done here.
Now, you mentioned a hearing, and I've been to some of these hearings. You have a reputation for being very to the point. And you also are really good with numbers.
Well, that's a nice way of saying that at times I can be over the top. But it's always measured, it's always controlled, and it's always intentional. And Kate, I believe we pay grown-up salaries to grown-ups to perform grown-up work. And for many years, we've allowed people to do the okey-doke, and enough of that. This government, our health conditions are the way they are because our government has failed our people. And I am not going to allow people to take a pass. I believe I'm fair. I believe I give people a chance to, everyone makes mistakes. So it's not about making mistakes and I got you moment. It's about you're paid a grown-up salary and I expect grown-up results. And nothing more, nothing less. And so, I watch myself, to be honest, at times. And I just recently got cable. Forever, I was like 19th century. I barely use a ballpoint pen.
Well, we think you should just be able to watch everything on the internet because this is on the internet.
Well, the internet is something I'm learning. Believe it or not, I'm making great progress, right? But I would watch myself and I would just be like, I would cringe at times because I thought, oh dear, that may be, but you're in the middle of something and you're trying to make a point. And you're also trying to get results. And we have a lot of makeup work. We have among the worst health outcomes in the country. All right, in the Northern Hemisphere, we have the second lowest life expectancy for African American men in the Northern Hemisphere. Now, how can that be in the richest country in the world? And so, we maybe the pendulum sometimes is a little overly aggressive, but I prefer to look at a legacy of results. And that is what, at the end of the day, I think we should all, as public officials, be judged on.
This is a fantastic city, and you should come back next time and learn more about why it's so fantastic right here on The District Dish.